Hey, good morning. This is Francisca, and this is my mid-crisis life. So I've got like a half-formed thought that maybe will come into fruition as I talk. Who knows? Or maybe it will stay elusive. So I was listening to this book, or I am listening to this book again, that is called A Course of Miracles Made Easy. And A Course of Miracles is this really, not heavy, amazing. This is amazing text that was transcribed in the 70s by a woman who acted as a conduit. And I'm not going to go into all of it, but it's an amazing book that you read over the space of a year, and really is about changing your mindset and understanding what our purpose is here as human beings, and really, I guess, in essence, trying to implement the teachings of Jesus. And the thing is even if you're not religious, even if you're not a Christian, and I wouldn't say that I was a Christian per se, I don't really believe in organized religion, but even if you don't believe in any of that, right, even if you don't believe in God, I would still say that the stuff that Jesus was talking about, like, you can't argue. You can't argue. It makes sense. He's just like, hey, stop being a dick. Stop following rules. The rule is that you love your fellow man. You love yourself. You understand that you are powerful. That you have healing properties, and that you are a creative being, and various different things. I'm probably going to get crucified now for someone saying that's not what Jesus meant. But you know what? All I'm trying to say is that even just as a teacher, as a philosopher, the way that you might, uphold Plato's or Plato or aristocracy, or any of those, Jesus had a lot of really important and meaningful things to say. And this book is basically qualifying a lot of those things. But it's very like psychobabble heavy. It was written by a psychotherapist and a number of her colleagues who were transcribing it and got it out in the book. So it's very kind of like psychological in its speech, right? So it can be difficult at times to kind of to swallow. Why am I saying this? Right. So I started reading that book and it was really difficult. And then I found another book that was like, if you can't read that book, read this one, because I'm just going to simplify it for you. And it talks about a lot of different things. But the thing that caught my ear when I was listening to it yesterday was it was talking about special relationships. Now, it was saying that most human beings want to be in a special relationship, when actually most human beings should be looking for something that's more of like a holy relationship, something that's more spiritual. Now, what does it define these special relationships as? So it's talking about those relationships where basically you put something or someone on a pedestal and you say, this thing or this person represents this for me. So this person represents acceptance or belonging, or I don't know, status, or I don't know, worth, value, love, all of these different things, right? Ownership, maybe, right? But usually, no, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say usually it's something to do with value, but I don't know that yet. I haven't done enough thinking about this particular thing. But it's like, I know for a fact that I've been in relationships like this, right? Where I have loved the person and loved the relationship because of what it represented to me. So, for example, my ex-boyfriend, who I was with for like 7 years, we knew each other when we were young, and then we didn't see each other for a long time, and then we got back together when we were older. And in the time that we didn't see each other, he went off and he made all these new friends and he started this new life and whatever else. Now, his friends knew him as someone who was an absolute gallus. It was an absolute gallus. Always with different girls, always cheating on girls, absolutely no respect for girls, no respect for any of his girlfriends. And because of that, girls wanted him. They wanted him. He was completely unobtainable. And I happened to like tame him and get him to settle down and whatever else because of the way that he felt about me and because of whatever it is that I represented for him in terms of what he needed, which was kind of like a mum and like a mother figure, like that nurturing, someone to help him through, to help him process things, to forgive him when he does things wrong, because he didn't have any of that when he was younger. And for me, it was about that kind of status, like of all the girls that couldn't get this guy, I got him, right? And my ego, because it is your ego that is looking for these things, not your heart, not your soul, not even your body, really. It's your ego. My ego was drunk on that shit, like drunk on it for such a long period of time, because I need to feel special. I need to feel unique. I need to feel better than other people, because my whole life has been about a comparison to others, because I suffer with really, really, really low self-esteem. So in order to feel better, I have to be able to say, well, I'm better than you, and I'm better than you, and I'm better than you. So this was like the ultimate iconic, what's the word? Whatever of that, right? There's a word for it. And there was a way that the relationship was idolized by my ego because it fed something. It fed some deficit, some need in me, right? And this is what the book was talking about. It was talking about this, the way that we make relationships and things special to us. Yeah. And it goes on to say that, as we all know, yeah, on the flip side of love is hate. So the same thing that you love about this thing that's special, you also hate it. And it's true. I hated everything that came with that person being unobtainable to me. Yeah. Because for him to be unobtainable, he has to have a certain attitude, a certain way of looking at women, a certain way of looking at himself that's like misogynistic, right? You can't be unobtainable without those things. You can't be unobtainable without thinking that you're unobtainable, right? So the same thing that made me have status and gave me power in one way, I also hated in another way. And I would say it's probably the opposite way. The same thing that he loved about me was the same thing that he hated about me. That I was wiser than him, that I was always one step ahead of him, that I was leading him. He hated that shit because he was misogynistic, right? So it's talking about that kind of real knife edge that actually what you love is what you hate. You know, for example, it makes the point so poignantly. It's like, fan is short for fanatic. There's a reason why famous people often get killed by their fans, get stalked by their fans, because these fans are idolizing something about this person, about what this relationship means to them. And if that's not reciprocated, or if at any point it seems that that idolization, that delusion doesn't fit into reality somewhere, that's really, really difficult to accept. So anyway, as this guy that's reading this book was talking about all of these things, it's got me thinking, because I know that the whole special relationship thing in my intimate relationships is 100% true, and I've known that for a very, very long time. And I've known, okay, there's actually something that I'm getting out of this, and I know that actually this is more about my ego being satisfied than my heart being satisfied, right? Which is why none of them have ever worked out, which is why I made the decision to be single for a long time now, to work through these things. But when I was thinking about that, because oftentimes when I listen to books, I'm like, yeah, I know this, I know that already. Like, I'm not learning anything, and I'm trying not to do that now. I'm trying to find some learning, even if I've heard all of these concepts before, right? Because there's always a way that this is going to be beneficial. And the way that was beneficial for me is I was thinking about myself and these videos and how I have placed these videos on a pedestal, how my ego has attributed some kind of meaning to them and is wanting something from them. And the same thing that I love about them is the same thing that I hate. So the idea that I will be recognized and uplifted and upheld and I don't know. That I will have fanatics because of the things that I say, because of the things that I do. For me, that's like because of just my makeup and because of like, I don't know, my crippling self-worth, low self-worth and low self-esteem. This is something that I crave, right? Ultimate recognition is something that I crave. But with it, that ultimate recognition is also something that I hate, because it means that I will be seen, it means that I will be judged, it means that I will be looked at, it means that people will have opinions, it means that I might not be accepted, I might not be loved by even one person. And that to me is very, very scary and makes me not want to do this at all. And the reason why I say it's a half-formed thought is because I'm not quite sure what that means or how that is resolved. Yeah. But I think by simply looking at this relationship that I have with this thing and understanding what it serves and what it doesn't serve will allow me to have some level of discernment about what I want to associate, what I want to attribute to this relationship and what I don't. And I don't mean, therefore, I attribute all the good stuff and all the things that make me feel good. No. And then I'll forget about the things that I don't love, that make me feel uncomfortable, whatever, because that's not reality. That's not going to happen. They are one in the same thing. They're two sides of the same coin. They cannot exist without one another. They're the yin and yang, you know. What I mean is, if I remove all of that ego-based stuff, and I think about at the core of it, what is it that I feel really about doing this? And as I'm thinking about it now, I just think it's exciting. I feel excited. I feel like this is fun. I didn't feel like that for a long time, but now when I think about making videos, I think, oh, this is actually really fun. I love creating. I love to be creative. Like, if I could be creative across a multitude of different fields in my life, that would be for me like the dream. This is what I would love to do. I don't feel like I'm a person who is like, a cog runner in this life. And that may sound conceited and whatever else and arrogant and all the rest of it, but that really is not who I feel like I am. I love to create things. And I was gonna say, oh, and no, actually, no, it's true. It's true. I hesitated. Like, I love to be connected. Like, I love to be connected with people. And I love when I'm connected with people, inspiring people and advising people and yeah, inspiring. That's really what I like to do, you know? Like, I like for people to come away feeling as though they've benefited from having that conversation with me. And I don't think that's every single time. Sometimes I'm like, sort your own fucking problems out. But generally, like, I really do love to connect in that way. And if I can find someone who feels me as well, who gives me advice, who inspires me, then all the better for those connections. And I think the reason why I'm saying this is I'm just working through it now in my head. Is it's like, if I can take away all the things that are ego based about it, even the things that I think that I love, even the things that I think that I want, like the fame and the money and the recognition and all of these things, if I take all of that away, what I'm left with is actually the reason and the purpose why I'm doing it. And if I can find that every single time, and if I can dip into that every single time, then it means that the purpose and the energy of what I'm putting out is genuine. It's not ego driven. It's heart driven. It's soul driven. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what more to say about that. Okay, something that I am grateful for. Let's see. Mm, yes, I feel really grateful that I have the opportunity to connect with people in this way. I think this has been one of the things that has been a struggle for me, because obviously there's nobody here. I'm not actually connecting with anybody. I'm just talking to myself in a room. Um, and that's felt quite disconnected, actually, in some ways. Um, but with that forethought of like, this is how I'm going to connect with people, actually, it feels a lot more beautiful. And I'm really, really grateful that I have given myself the opportunity to do that when that is something that I hold so dear. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to go to work now. And yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day. Okay, that's it.